Hey, slow and controlled strength training is the key to your pain and mobility issues. Trust me.
All right, so JD and I were just talking about a concept of taking your training, and this is one of, I would call this like the preliminary cheat code to pain-free training and pain-free strength training specifically. So when we're training, we want to make sure that we are doing a few things. So strength training, a lot of people think of, it beats you up. It can hurt you. It can make you tighter. It can make you stiff. But if you're doing it right, it will not do that. It will absolutely do the opposite. It will enhance your mobility. It will build resilience in those tendons and tissues and joints. But here's the thing, there's a couple things you gotta do. The first is when you're strength training, you wanna go slow, controlled, and go slow, controlled. You're gonna always be able to control the weight. No jerky stuff. When you jerk, or when you try to finish a rep hard, or when you really power through, I say anybody over the age of 30, 35, no more grinder reps. Don't need those. They're not, the risk to benefit ratio is just kind of off the charts. You don't need to be absolutely gutting through those last couple reps. So when we're gonna do something like, I'm gonna do like a barbell row here, call it a rear delt raise. I want you to just notice the tempo. I'm gonna go slow and controlled through the whole thing. I'm gonna control the weight. I'm gonna go through my full range of motion, and I'm gonna control the negative, and I'm gonna kind of slowly produce the concentric or the up phase of the rep, okay? So if I'm here, I'm gonna get here, I'm gonna set up, I'm gonna get nice and easy, I'm gonna initiate that weight, get where I wanna go, and then slow, controlled repetitions. This will take something that sometimes can be destructive and make it constructive. I was talking to a buddy of mine about this the other day, just because I know he trains a little harshly, a little violently. These repetitions do not need to be violent. We don't need to rip this thing like this and then catch it at the bottom. We want to control it the whole way. And that takes your strength training from a destructive element to it and makes it constructive and resilience building.
And just in case you think I might be talking out of my you-know-what, there's a couple papers, including this one, that have basically shown that strength training is basically as effective, if not more effective, for mobility and flexibility than actual static stretching. But I've always talked about this. I've always said, look, there's something called reciprocal inhibition. When you contract a muscle fully on one side, you're gonna relax the antagonistic muscle fully on the other side. So if I'm doing a bicep curl, when I activate my bicep curl all the way to its end range, I'm passively, well, not passively, actively stretching my tricep. So basically, when you're doing slow and controlled strength training, you're also doing slow and controlled loaded stretching, which is gonna be more neurologically effective anyways. So strength training is just as good, if not better. I would say way better because of all the side benefits for mobility than just stretching or doing your mobility work or, you know, any kind of mobility inducing passive modality, even adjustment, even massage, right? If you are strength training, slow, controlled through the full range of motion and in a balanced nature where your programming is supporting, you know, full range of motion, muscle balance, and hitting everything appropriately, then you're doing just as much, if not more, for your mobility, flexibility, than you are when you're just doing your mobility work like stretching.